Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Michael. How's it going?
Oh, not bad. Yeah. Enjoying this beautiful weather, and while we still have a little bit of summer left over here.
Oh, well, I don't know about summer, but I'm loving the rain. Give me the clouds. Give me the rain.
You know, they each have their niceties, right?
They do. They do.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, that's awesome. I'm really excited for the presentation today. So you're going to be sharing some SEO knowledge, and welcome
Yeah.
everyone who's joining. Feel free to drop in where you're joining in the chat. Really looking forward to the presentation today. We're going to be sharing a bunch of awesome insights.
Yeah, definitely. We'll give everyone a few minutes to pop in. Maybe start at 10:05.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we have people that are already starting to hop in. So yeah, in a few minutes here, when you're ready to go, I think we can kick things off. 10:04, 10:05.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Hello, Kyle. Welcome from Vancouver, WA. Thank you for joining.
Hey, Kyle. Thanks for coming. I can't believe fall is around the corner, Michael. Can you believe this? It's crazy.
Yeah. No, summer did fly by, but I mean that's 2024 in a nutshell. It feels like so.
Well, when is the actual first day of fall? It's September, isn't it?
Yeah, my guess would be mid-September.
I see.
Fall equinox, September 22nd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Charles. Hey, Josh. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Just some info for you, Charles. There is some lower quality feed issues on LinkedIn. Typically, YouTube is a little higher quality if you want to get the best quality video stream. Looks like Josh is excited for fall too, Jason.
Yeah, I know. I went to a peach farm the other day thinking that I could get, like that last round of potential picking of peaches off the tree, and nope, season's over. Leaves are falling, no. Everything's yellowing. So that's that.
You tried.
Yeah. Hi, Greg.
Hello, Greg.
We got a bunch of people on YouTube. We got some LinkedIn.
Yeah, people are
from Vancouver. Awesome.
Yeah, welcome.
Keep it coming. If you are on YouTube and you are enjoying the webinar, hopefully there's a joke in here that will warrant a thumbs up on the video. But if you can give a thumbs up to the live stream on YouTube, that would be greatly appreciated. Helps increase visibility. And for those that are coming in and might have to drop off because you have a meeting in 15 minutes or 30 minutes, that sort of thing, this is being recorded. It will be available in other spaces following the completion of the webinar.
Yeah, great point there, Jason. And for those who don't already follow our channel, we do monthly webinars as well as create a bunch of additional content. So definitely worth a follow as we're always sharing new great marketing content and insights that can help you in your business. Oh yeah, Josh, Engage is better than ever. Coming up quick too. Only a couple months left, so make sure you have your tickets.
I was looking at Engage. There are so many great speakers, and I was also looking that it's been 3 years already since I had presented at Engage, which doesn't feel like that long.
We got to get you back. Next year.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. The topic, though, what is it going to be good enough? I don't know. I got to think about it. I got time. I'm going to hide the chat over here so I'm not distracted by all you fine folks. But thank you for coming. And I'll get my screen sharing going here, Michael, but I think we're good to get started.
You ready to kick it off? Perfect. Well, let's get going then. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on how to improve your website performance with SEO. My name's Michael Cortez, Web4 partner and marketing manager. I'm excited to be here with you today, along with Jason Wright, our guest speaker. Uh, he's going to be sharing insights on SEO fundamentals, how to help your small business uh, grow and its organic visibility. Jason is a partner, president, and director of creative at Web4, bringing over 20 years of experience in digital strategy, web development, SEO, and more. He's an expert at turning difficult concepts into actionable strategies that drive real results. As I've mentioned, Jason's going to be covering a comprehensive range of fundamental SEO principles to set you on the path to digital marketing success. Please join me in welcoming Jason Wright, who will guide us through these essential SEO concepts to help boost your business's online presence. Woof, that's a tongue twister. Jason, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And that was a heck of a intro. I don't
I
know. I
got
don't know if I'm gonna have this down at the level that you just put out there.
I always got to try to challenge myself. I got to try to
Yeah.
challenge myself.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Do we need to change over to my screen on the stream?
Yeah, you should be good to share. Let me know
Okay.
if it's giving us any sharing issues.
I am sharing currently.
Okay, let's. One second here.
This is where we make Michael sweat. You're burning daylight, Michael.
I'm definitely sweating here.
That's what my dad would always say. You're burning daylight. Did we get it? No. Okay, here. Let me
Seeing
try
the
again.
presentation for reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. This is all intentional. We had this planned. All right, I'm gonna try again. Share here.
Yep, looks like we should be good to go in a second here.
Okay.
Show stream. There we go.
Perfect. All right. So if you could just restart that whole intro. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Michael. Thank you. I'll take it from here. As you can tell, we like to have fun as much as possible here at Web4. Today we're going to talk about how to improve your website SEO. Thank you for coming. We're going to dive right in. There's some different things we'll talk about from a tactics standpoint, just general fundamentals. We're going to look at how SEO can lead to new client acquisition and just talk about some of the things that business owners don't quite understand, how SEO works, the things that they miss on a regular basis, the things to look out for when you're working with an SEO, or if you are an SEO currently, it might be good just to have a little bit of a refresh here. Ultimately, I hope you have fun and are able to relax and learn a little bit. Maybe you're driving or you're having coffee and doing something else. If you are enjoying this presentation, please like on the various platforms. I would really appreciate it. It goes a long way for our reach and helping other people see this content. So once again, thank you for coming. A little bit about me. Michael pretty much crushed the intro. I've worked with thousands of businesses over the years. I have about 2.5 decades of creative experience and 17 years in the agency doing everything from strategy to design and marketing. And I really love creating visual stories that have an impact and drive sales, lead to growth, but ultimately improve business success and communities. We don't often think about how businesses are essentially small groups of communities, and over time, if they grow communities, thereby giving jobs to people and building out a whole network of people in a local area, which is really huge. It's been great to work with different businesses over the years and see them go from 5 employees to 20 to 30 to 50, because that's a lot of families that are getting supported in the local area. It's one of the things I really enjoy. This is my family. Some long stories here that I can share another time, but I have a cat now, so there's a whole story to that. Top left is my dog Leia. She's 9 years old. She's a sweetheart. She's a pit bull mix. And that's my wife and I in the top middle. I broke my leg, fractured my leg this summer. So that's been my summer. Hopefully you've had a more exciting summer than that. But I love getting out into nature, taking photos, building Lego, that sort of stuff. Those are things I do on my free time. For my day job, though, I do lots of different things, A lot of marketing support, a lot of design support, a lot of operational support, a lot of different buckets. So today we're going to focus on SEO and some of the fundamentals. But before we get into it, let's just look at this quick stat. Only 30% of businesses have a good grasp of SEO strategies. 30%. So 70% of small businesses have a basic understanding or no understanding of SEO at all. And that's really important because we are currently in this era, which feels like 15 years of being in this same spot where SEO is dead, SEO is no longer valuable. But it's just really not the case. It's still driving significant conversion for businesses across the web. And still, even though SEO has been around a long time, very few business owners understand it. They don't have all of the context and they don't know all the nuance. And why should they? It's complex. There are a lot of pieces. If you're working with a mechanic, I would hope that they would understand how to fix an engine or replace a transmission, that sort of thing. When you're working with an SEO, that's what they do. They essentially fix the engine, the transmission. The owner of the vehicle isn't expected to know how to change an engine or a tire or a battery or anything, right? So that's where SEOs come into play, where they can provide a lot of support, a lot of knowledge to help build up their business. So let's talk about what SEO is at a high level. It stands for search engine optimization, and it helps you grow in positions on Google, Bing, and other locations around the internet. What you do on your site will impact other search engines like DuckDuckGo and other places. So it all builds equity over time. It is a constantly and frustratingly evolving space, and that's part of what you invest in when you're working with an SEO person or an SEO team, because the industry is constantly changing, the search results are changing, the factors are changing, and those factors can have a dramatic impact on your business performance. Looking back at one of the updates that happened through September, October, November, businesses were impacted dramatically, and they just don't know. They're coming to us asking, I was doing well, I'm not now. This agency did this, I think they hurt us, or this person did this, I think they hurt us. And a lot of times it's just the changing landscape and not pivoting fast enough. So when the helpful content update dropped last year, it just made a dramatic impact and changed the keyword ranking game for most businesses I've spoken to over the last year. So what can SEO do for you? Well, it can grow your business, create new opportunities, of course, as a result of that, and you reach a more expansive audience. There's just more people. You have more visibility, more ranking, that drives traffic, can drive sales. But SEO is not fast. It is not fast, okay? You cannot guarantee results, although there's a nuance to that. If you have a track record of driving performance and results, you might actually be able to guarantee a certain percentage of growth, but nobody can guarantee ranking placements. Nobody can guarantee sales. It really is a bit of a slot machine in that regard. However, if you're following best practices, you're producing great content, optimizing a site well, that will create traffic, that will create opportunity, and it will create sales. You just can't say it's going to happen like this on this date and you'll be this successful. If someone is telling you that, I'd be concerned about that partnership. There are no tricks. There's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts to fixing the engine. It's a lot of hard work and many, many factors. Right now, organic search drives 53% of all website traffic. But that's a blanket statement from BrightEdge, and it's much different industry to industry. And also the desktop mobile stats are very interesting too. In some cases, organic's going to drive 60, 70, 75% of traffic. And then referral, network traffic, social traffic, those things will drive traffic numbers as well. So organic is still a major part of the market share. And depending on your industry and who you're targeting, it might be the lion's share of traffic you actually receive. So let's talk about some of the SEO elements that are really important, have been important, continue to be important, and will be important for the long term. Title tags. So title tags appear at the top of your Chrome tab. So if you look at the top of Chrome, you'll see there'll be some text up there. So these screenshots, I'll walk you through. You can see my mouse, it looks like. So up here is where your title tag appears. Now, it also appears in search engines along with the meta description, which we'll talk about in a minute. The challenge here is that the title and meta descriptions for your site and for each page are critically important and just a foundational SEO thing. When I look at a website, I can tell within seconds if someone's really, truly doing optimization. And oftentimes the answer is no, they're not. Here's an example. This title tag for this homepage says EGR International. Okay, great. For Google, this is like a chapter heading or a book title for this particular portion of the website. So when Google crawls this says nothing. This has a business name, but there's no context, there's no keywords, there's nothing like roofing contractor located in Vancouver, Washington, pipe, EGR International. That would be an optimized title tag to some degree. And that provides enough context, or at least more context, for Google to understand. Here you can see dentist in Vancouver, WA. That's pretty good. It's better overall, and it's clearly getting optimized for SEO. I think there's some improvements that can be made there, because these spaces can be highly competitive. So what kind of dentist? What do you want to specialize in? Are you targeting kids? Are you targeting adults? Are you doing cosmetic mostly, or is it family dentistry? And if you talk to a dentist, they're likely say, well, I'm doing all of it, and that can make things a little bit challenging, but you can navigate that stuff with content architecture too. Here's one title tag that I was looking at: phone charging stations for sale, pipe, charging stations, pipe, grow charge. So there's nothing really inherently wrong with this, although there's a couple fundamentals that are being broken in my opinion. One of them is that there's too much text, and it's very clearly being optimized for SEO. And so the tricky thing is where we're at with SEO today is that we have to focus on users first. Users have to come first. Google is very smart. Their algorithm is very intelligent. It's AI that's scraping sites, pulling data, putting in a database, and then ranking accordingly. So when it sees phone charging stations for sale, pipe, charging stations, Google knows that you're trying to get higher placement in search. So maybe eliminating some words here would be better, right? Just shorten that up a little bit. So title tags should be less than 60 characters, should be unique on all pages. I don't know how many times I see non-unique title tags on pages, a lot of duplicate stuff, a lot of incorrect stuff. If you just do these first two things, that would just go a long, long way. Write for users first, search engine second. We talked about that. Include keywords early. So you saw dentist in Vancouver. That's including keywords early, though I might get more specific about that, in the title tag itself, depending on goals and whatnot. And that's why some of this stuff is challenging, because you have to understand the client goals or the business goals and then guide the strategy based on those goals. So that's going to change how you place keywords in different sections of the website. Include the brand name when it works and fits. So you saw Grow Charge there. There's the family dentistry. There's EGR International. When it fits and it makes sense, use a pipe or a hyphen. Michael might argue with me there because sometimes fundamentals change. I like the pipe. Other people like the hyphen. There's arguments about what's better. But nonetheless, separate the context of the title tag from the brand name. Meta descriptions, as I mentioned, are connected to the title tags. And here I just went down the dentistry rabbit hole. Look at this first one. There's no description. So it's just pulling content from the page and making it up for the meta description. That's why it's really important to set these meta descriptions inside of your WordPress platform or whatever it might be, Shopify, etc. Here we can see that this is more optimized. Provides high-quality dental care to patients in the Vancouver area and beyond. Schedule your appointment today. So this is great because we've got dentistry, we've got brand name, which is fine. We got dental care for, in terms of keywords. We've got Vancouver, which is good. They might want to say Vancouver WA here, and this is unique to us because there's Vancouver, BC, and Google is getting better about this, but sometimes there's conflicts about how you're appearing and how you're being qualified to rank locally. They have a call to action, schedule your appointment. So it's perfect. Short, sweet, keywords, looks good. This one, we've got Riverstone Family Dentistry. Your bright, healthy smile is our top priority. We proudly serve families in Vancouver WA. So this looks decent. We've got dentistry. We've got Vancouver. But there's nothing else really that's optimized here. So this is speaking more to emotion and trust than actual SEO optimization. Just something to think about. Meta description should be about double a title tag, so between 150 to 160 characters. You want to be concise, but make sure you include all the things that need to be in there and need to be said right up front. That's really important. Right for the audience, right? I know we want to rank for search engines and get higher placement and whatnot, and we try and stuff things into title tags and descriptions, but it takes time, and titles and metas are not the only component. That is not the single factor that's going to change the game. However, good titles and metas can help your ranking move in the right direction. Make sure you include a call to action. Don't stuff the description. Don't stuff the description. Okay? Technical SEO. Let's talk about that for a minute. So, this is the process of looking at the website, looking for opportunities to improve things that could be hindering your overall performance. And technical SEO has some specific definitions. I'm just going to speak in layman's terms and talk about things that stand out to me. We use some different auditing tools. You can check out Site Auditor inside of SEMrush. You can look at Sitebulb. You can look at other tools for site audits. In fact, you should, because it helps give perspective and insight into different things that could be going on the website that you're not really sure about or even aware. In here, you can see invalid structure, data items, 404 errors. Now look at that, 430 404s, 2,725 broken images. That's a couple, right? That's a couple. Now, duplicate content, low text HTML ratio, those aren't really technical issues. But when you've got broken things, that's a problem. So when you look at this and you see, wow, there's 6,936 errors, almost 13,000 warnings, and we'll just say 50,000 notices to make it sound scarier. That's a lot of problems to solve, right? But also, that poses tremendous opportunity. There's a lot of things here that can drive improvement for your ranking. So you see site health is below 80, 90%. We've got work to do. And tackling these things over time will make a huge difference. So a lot of times businesses will launch a new website, they will migrate some data and then lose images, or they'll change URL structure or folder structure on the site, which will end up breaking a lot of elements within blogs and that sort of thing. And Google can see that. It can crawl the site and say, oh, well, you got 1,000 blog posts, but obviously you don't care about it because 2,725 images are broken. And they'll start discrediting you as a result of having poor user experience, right? Because it is poor user experience. You click on a blog post, you want to read about a topic, which is broken. So it's going to lead to high bounce rate, low engagement scores, and that's going to impact you all over the place. Let's see, a couple other things. The internal links that are broken, 589. It's just stuff that has to be fixed through redirection or that type of thing, right? Finding out where you're falling down from a URL structure standpoint, correcting that with 301 redirects can make a really positive impact. Or in some cases, we've seen clients who've just decided to delete all their blogs. They just woke up and said, new site, we don't write blogs, we just get rid of it, delete. And then 3 months later, 6 months later, they're coming in and saying, I don't know what happened to our results. I don't know what happened. We were fine, and then now we're not. Okay, well, did you launch a new site recently? Well, that was like 6 months ago. Okay, well, let me go look at the data. Well, yeah, you launched a new site 6 months ago, and actually pulling a keyword comparison and page comparison, Yeah, well, what happened to your 471 blog posts? Oh, well, we don't need those anymore. Okay. Well, you can't just delete that stuff and not see an impact there. So SEO is complicated in that it touches a lot of different spaces, especially user experience. And that's the primary thing that Google is focused on. There's some other stuff here, but there's a lot of opportunities to improve performance. The less non-technical things slash kind of technical things is that there's some warnings in here that say 3,000 pages have low text to HTML ratio. What that means is there's too much code before there's context. And that's tricky to navigate. Sometimes it's the build of the site. But the more stuff you have before the context of a page, the more that Google has to crawl and get through and be like, okay, bracket, HTML this, href that, img source. It's just all of this stuff before it can get to the meat and potatoes. And sometimes that document markup could be the reason why you're not performing very well. One other thing I'll point out here is the HTTP and HTTPS issue. I see this a lot too, where websites are appearing as duplicates because there's no forced redirect from HTTP and HTTPS. If you want to test that, you just go to your site, add HTTPS, then delete the S, hit enter on both, and see what happens. One should redirect to the other, and all sites should have an SSL security certificate at this point. So implement a lot of redirects. You're going to need them. You're probably going to have broken links. That's okay. Again, seeing that many errors can be horrifying, but also hundreds of errors can be corrected with sometimes small changes. Something else I see is too many headers on one page, specifically H1s or heading 1. So when you have a structure of a page and you're building out content, you want to make sure that you have proper headline usage. There should only ever be one H1 on a page. If you have more than one, you have two, you have three, you're telling Google all kinds of things that are mixing up messages for them in terms of how they rank you. Some other things that can create issues, we talk about broken images. hreflang, I see this all the time too, where hreflang is getting used to designate what language is on the page. So when Google is coming, they hit that code in the top, and Google says, "Oh, okay, this is a French serving site and page now," and then it reads the text and it's in English. That's a problem, and it creates conflict and can impact your performance. Too many redirects is a bad thing, and also look out for temporary redirects. I just had this experience recently where someone has 3,251 temporary redirects. Don't use those unless you truly mean temporary, as in you're working on some stuff and you're going to get rid of those eventually or tell Google where to go. Unfortunately, that was not the case with this business. They are looking at using temporary redirect in a way that is actually supposed to be permanent, but they didn't realize they're using the wrong status code there. Link depth is important, script errors. You can see some of that stuff inside of Console, and you can also see that through different tools like Site Auditor, other things. So just some other items to watch out for. Architecture, I get really excited about, unnecessarily excited about. So on architecture, I'm using something called Screaming Frog. Funny name. Think about the name for a second. Screaming Frog. Who thought of this? Anyway, you can crawl a site, put in a URL, get a list of pages. It looks kind of ugly in the system, but then I'll export that data, color code everything, organize, categorize, that sort of deal. What's really cool about this exercise is that it gives you the opportunity to see what things look like visually. And sometimes what I find is a business will come in and say, I want to rank for these 10 services. And I look at their architecture and I see that they've got 141 blog posts and no service pages. So at that point, you're a glorified news site or article site in the eyes of Google because you don't have enough context there for them to understand that you're anything else. So you can see a lot of interesting details inside a sheet like this. when you've got it all organized. Here's an example of where you've got duplicate H2s. You may also like, you may also like, you may also like, you may, so on and so forth. Fortunately, those are dynamic pages, so adjusting this in one spot and putting in some regular expression or some other dynamic piece of content will rectify this issue across the board. If you want to learn more about this process, you can check out this link in here. I realize that I will need to maybe share this link elsewhere, or we'll share the slide deck on LinkedIn or SlideShare or something, and you can check out the link. But there's a blog post on our site where I break down this entire process. Could be really handy to look at and walk through. A few other things here is the overall organization of the URL structure. It's like we have collections, accessories, it's a Shopify site, so that's fine. But looking at unnecessarily deep subdirectory URL structure is something worth considering, because sometimes you'll see like here are blogs, news, and then you'll see another and another and another, and then the URL. There's too many layers deep. You want to try and get that link as close to the root of the domain as possible. So good URL structure matters because it's part of what delivers context to Google. It also contains keywords. You want to make sure you have the right subfolders. It's not too long, it's not too short. You don't want to have a blog post that has 15 words in it and then make that the URL. You do have to shorten it down. So you have to be thoughtful there about how you organize architecture. And this leads into content strategy. And this is one of those critical components that plays into SEO, because without content, there's no ranking. And that's the bottom line. Title tag is content. Meta description is content. Without content, there is no ranking. This stat says that 72% of marketers believe relevant content creation is the most effective SEO tactic. That's because it is. Who's the other 28%? What are they saying? That's what I want to know. There's other things, obviously, like local SEO and all kinds of stuff. But without words, you're not going to get ranking. And before you go run to your AI tool to generate copy, understand that original content matters. You can use tools all day long to pump out content. You could post 100 things tomorrow. It has to be high quality, things that people care about. It needs to be your tone, needs to be rewritten to be fresh for your site. You need to pass it by some plagiarism tools to make sure that it doesn't get caught up in penalization when Google will eventually crack down on mass-generated AI content. So content is king, and building out content or information silos can have a huge positive impact on your business. Your content needs to have impact. You want to make sure it's well researched in the cases where you're sharing stats and data and that sort of thing. And you want to find ways to communicate your overall business message with emotion. We buy emotionally. So a lot of times you'll go to a website and it'll say, we do roofing services. Okay, but what about we keep your house safe by having XYZ? Things that tap into fears, uncertainties, that sort of deal can have a really positive impact. Content should be built up over time. So that's why I'm saying, if you are in that mindset where, well, I'll write 100 pages right now. That's just not, you need to think long term. Posting content regularly, posting it in a meaningful cadence that isn't all at once because you're trying to game the system. To me, I generally recommend you have a base website of 50 to 100 URLs of quality content if you can. There's a whole lot that you can do there just from a service page standpoint to build out that structure. And then building in blog posts or topics to share your expertise can have a really amazing impact on your business. You want to work towards performance, not just bulk, not just 200-word blog posts. Our incredible team of content writers produce over 1,400 pieces of content per year for our clients. It's a significant undertaking. And those content pieces are 900 words, 1,200 words, 1,500 words. So before you think that, well, I can just go back and do that, it's hard work. And sometimes it's best to let the experts help you in that way. But Including your unique perspective and insight, images, all that stuff matters, and it's incredibly important. But if you can think and fast forward, you have all of this content on the website, say it's 50 pages, you will rank for keywords. You will grow. That's the bottom line. Are you growing in the right direction? Are you growing in the spaces you want to grow in? That's a different conversation. It requires different tactics. Just a quick example here. Since for whatever reason I picked dental services, maybe because I just went to the dentist and that's why it's top of mind, but there's all kinds of service pages you can write about. Sometimes you'll go to one of these sites, and I think I mentioned earlier, it'll just say services. You go there and there's the top menu and it says services, and you click and you're on the services page. Unfortunately, that's going to give a limited window into your business, according to Google. It's not going to give you a lot of opportunity for ranking for keywords or even growing performance. But if you start building out more pages like cavities or fillings or dentures, implants, that sort of stuff, extraction, teeth removal, braces, fun topics, I know, right? At 10:30 a.m. Pacific. These building out these content pages can have a really positive impact, because now if you think about it, you don't just have the services intro page anymore. Now you've got dental cleanings. Now you've got crowns. Now you got root canal. People are looking for root canal Vancouver wall, root canal this. And so you want your website to come up for that. And the best way to do that is to have relevant content that speaks to them. This can go a step further. I didn't break it all down here, but you can separate these things into other categories. So then you have family dentistry, and that becomes a page that can rank in search and have decent performance. There's cosmetic and putting things in there like braces or whatever it might be, and then dentures, and there's a whole series of things that can go underneath dentures. So you can build. There are limits to a certain extent. You want to make sure that your organization of your website and your pages makes sense, that you aren't just listing 40 pages in one drop-down menu. So you got to be thoughtful about how you accomplish this. And there's ways to do it that just make sense for both users and search. But doing something like this, even going through an exercise right now, maybe you work with someone, or maybe you are the business owner or an operator or a marketing manager. Just think about your business right now, or the business you're working with, and how they could build out their overall content strategy or architecture to help fill the needs of optimization. All right, a few more things that we'll touch on. Website speed, we should know by now. It's very important. Again, another UX factor. 53% of mobile site visitors will leave a page that takes longer than 3 seconds to load. We know this, right? You're on your phone when you shouldn't be. You're at a red light, or you're in the fast food lane, or you're getting your coffee and you're like trying to bring up a site and get those shoes that you were thinking about, and it just will not load. So you're like, disconnect Wi-Fi, connect to Wi-Fi, disconnect Wi-Fi, and it won't load. What's going to happen eventually? You're going to quit, either because you got to get a move on, or you're just going to get annoyed and you're going to move on because it's just too slow, and you're going to go on Amazon instead or somewhere else. So fast load time matters. This is directly from Google, right? They're telling us, hey, the site needs to load fast. If you can get the site to load within 1.5 seconds or 1 second, you are way ahead than most of the entire population on the internet. Here's some examples of load time. This is Google Page Speed Insights. You can go look that up. It's a free tool. You can put your website in and look at load time. You can see performance is low for desktop and mobile. It's not the end-all, be-all, but there's things that you can do to improve performance, like using cache plugins and that sort of thing. You want to get the load time down, and you want to use different tools to test, because some of them will have waterfalls that can show, oh, your website's pretty good, but you have this one image that John Doe uploaded at full resolution, which is taking 4 seconds to load. There's opportunities there to improve that. You can use something like GTmetrix or Pingdom, and there's other tools out there you can use to look at the performance of a page and find those things that are taking a long time to load. And you might want to check with your hosting provider. Maybe it's a agency partner, or maybe you are hosting the site in GoDaddy or whatnot. Look at opportunities to turn on caching, CDN, that sort of thing. There's some great WordPress plugins called WP Rocket. There's also NitroPack and some other things that are out there that can really help with load time. We wouldn't be talking about SEO if we didn't include local listing management. And as I'm going through this, you should be getting the understanding that it's all of these things combined that make the impact, right? You have to think about everything holistically. You can do things in pieces. We approach optimization from a holistic standpoint, both on-site and off-site factors. And local listings are like your digital fingerprint. 40% of all Google searches are looking for local information. So that's really important. If you are a dentist in Vancouver, you want to try and take up as much real estate as you can in search results so that when you are searching, your panels come up, whether it's in Bing or Google, and that it's completely filled out, has all the right content and everything else. Updating your images, making sure you got descriptions in there, your hours, phone numbers, website, all that stuff so often doesn't exist, or their profiles aren't claimed, or there's no photos. These little things can mean so much to the user and also to Google. An incomplete profile is one that has no value, right? If you look up a restaurant, we've all done this. You look up a restaurant or you look up something, you know it's a local business, and you're like, okay, all right, cool, there's this panel on the right, and you're looking around, and there's no website button, there's no information. It says it's closed, but then you found the website, but then you find out the restaurant's actually open, then you drive down there and it's actually closed. Aligning your digital properties to be accurate and current is how you're going to build your business over time. So as I said, it's like your online digital fingerprint. You want to make sure that your name, address, phone number are aligned across the board. It's probably a mess. In fact, I know it's a mess because it's always a mess for everybody. And it's also never going to be perfect, but you should try, right? You should try and keep your data up to date. So that means updating your Google listings, claiming it, make sure it's 100% complete. There's Bing too. Don't forget about Bing. And there are many other locations where you want to optimize your data so that it's got the right phone number, right business name, right down to whether or not there's a comma between business and LLC, or if there's a period or there's not, and you want to go with your DBA as much as possible. Okay, a few other components here. Link building. I'm not going to talk about link building too much, just a little bit. And the reason for that is because it's a whole different game. When I started in the industry 17 years ago, I was working for a business that was producing link farms on a regular basis, which then, I want to say 2 years later, got penalized significantly in Google search and resulted in the closing of many, many businesses and definitely many, many websites, meaning that websites that were ranking well went to zero overnight. And so when I think about link building today, it's not about finding directories and things where you can stick a link somewhere. It's just about producing value, producing great content that people want to engage with, they want to read, they want to link to. That's the entire game. And it's not about the mass numbers of links. It's about the quality of the links, right? So getting a .gov or a .edu or a .com that is a high-profile .com, those things can drive significant equity to your website. Links matter, quantity of links matter, quality of links matter, but don't hyperfixate on that. Instead, build an amusement park people want to go to, right? That's what you should be focusing on, which is your website, a property that you own. Domain ratings for websites still matter. It's not as important as it used to be, but it is an indicator in terms of how your ranking might be impacted by potentially a very low domain rating site or getting many links from a zero domain rating website. They still matter, it just has to be done right, and you want to increase things naturally over time. You can do that through doing some topic research inside of a keyword research tool. If you can't subscribe to things, just go to YouTube or just go to Google and type in how to know if I have a cavity. right? And just start typing that. You'll get all the suggested searches. You just start there. Those are some simple ways that you could do things on your own and do some of your own research without subscribing to some of the expensive tools that are out there. Okay, let's talk about putting this all together and wrapping up here. So there's a lot of tactical things that you got to implement so that rankings can improve and whatnot. Something we didn't spend a whole lot of time on is the attribution side, because it's not always about getting thousands and thousands of keywords. It's not always about getting thousands and thousands of visitors. You just need some people to buy, right? So optimizing traffic and conversions is the key part of the game that you have to get really, really good at. And it takes time because it takes a lot of testing, a lot of repeating of cycles and trying things again. It means writing a page and rewriting a page and then rewriting a page again and rewriting other pages because you rewrote the other page to align with what's working. It just takes time, and it takes months, and in many cases, years of long-term focus, which then yield exponential awards and benefits as a result. Looking into the attribution side in data can be challenging because you'll often get this, or you do this, because I did this for a while. You look at data at a high level. So here's a website that has, 1,300 keywords. That's all keywords, and that looks really good. We've got some really positive charts. And when we go in and we break down the data and we look at the top 10 positions of high intent phrases, well, now we have a different perspective, right? It's going in a different direction, kind of up, and now it's trending down. We had the helpful content update here, and we're seeing some ripples as a result of that. We had a site update that happened back here that devastated these positions pretty significantly. And we can see different patterns as a result of going deeper. So when you're looking at data, just remember, don't look at just the surface level. Go deeper. And then when you think you're deep in the data, go a little bit deeper again if you can. It gets challenging now at GA4 because there's less flexibility. There's more in some ways, but it's challenging to navigate, and I have empathy there for those who are struggling with that change in platform. Something else that you could do is export data out of a keyword ranking tool. You could export data out of a analytics profile and organize information and find out where performance is really coming from. So when we look at this example, we'll see that while there might be 1,300 keywords, there's the ranking here is really kind of all over the place. And so ideally you have ranking for higher search volume phrases that have low to mid competition, and you have decent positions for. And it can be challenging. Like here we have position 3 and keyword difficulty of 28, high search volume. Up here we've got position 10 for this blog post related keyword, but it drives 1,600 search volumes or searches per month across the US, not to their site, just in US, and a 27% keyword difficulty. Now, one thing I'll communicate on that side is business owners also don't understand the value of blog production, and there is a lot of value there because those blog posts that capture people's attention drive authority and they drive links. So it might not be selling a service directly, it's just informational, right? Doesn't seem to be a lot of value there. But those high performing blog posts can drive dozens of links and lots of traffic and long average time on page and low bounce rate. All signals that tell Google, well, you must be important. This article must be good because people are staying here and they're tracking your every move. You're staying here, they're reading, they're clicking on to another page, and because so many people are doing that, they must be trustworthy, and maybe we should consider ranking them a little bit better. And all of this stuff contributes to your overall authority. So some tips for attribution: go deeper than the surface level. If you don't have events set up in analytics, look into that. It's a pain, but look into events, key events, really important. You have a great baseline there. You don't know how many times we go in and someone says, we're doing conversion tracking, and we look and they're not. Or they are and they're double tracking. And then they have that horrific realization, which is not fun, right? It's a horrific realization that they've been tracking form fills, the same form fills, twice. So they've been reporting double conversion numbers to their direct reports for a long time. And it starts, filling in the gaps of why management is thinking one thing and sales is thinking one thing. It's because the attribution piece can be all over the place. So having great attribution, testing your website, using heat mapping tools, and sometimes just slowing down. This is a rapid environment, things move fast, right? But sometimes slowing down and understanding the data is the most valuable time you can spend, because that dictates next steps. It dictates your focus, and your focus is everything when it comes to digital marketing strategy. So make sure you've got great title tags, great metas. Make sure you've got meaningful content. Create that strong base of a website, 50 to 100 pages if you can. Reduce the technical errors. Create content topics that people care about, and have clear and focused calls to action on the website, which I could get into a whole thing about calls to action. Michael knows, he's popping on here, that Michael knows I could spend a whole lot of time on that topic. Some advanced goodies to think about, to look at on your own time, is schema markup, href laying, large scale redirection plans, things that could be impacting you. Content pruning. We didn't talk about that at all. But this is also a technique where maybe you got 1,000 pages. Well, that sounds great, because now you're like, I got 1,000 pages. Why doesn't Google love me? There's 1,000 pages. Don't you love me, Google? I got all this stuff. Well, then sometimes you're getting penalized because you have 1,000 pages, because 891 of them get no traffic because nobody wants that content. And so content pruning is the process of going and looking at ranking and performance and understanding what pages should be consolidated or brought down off the website. And of course, attribution. Maybe it should have been at the beginning, but attribution is incredibly important. Know where you are so you can plan where you want to be in the future and work towards those goals. So if you're interested in getting support or would like us to take a look at anything, feel free to contact us. We will do 3 free hours of analysis and breakdown, kind of like what you saw in this presentation. There's no obligations or anything like that. You have a chance to connect with me, ask questions, and give you some strategy support. If you want to do that, just fill out the form on our website, web4.com, get started. And with that, I hope that you learned something today. Hopefully you laughed. Maybe you hit the thumbs up. I'm hoping someone did. At least one is my goal. And I'll see you all again soon. So for now, I'm going to hand it over to Michael and see if we have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. I know we got many more than just one like, and I'm sure we got a couple follows at least too. So excellent presentation. Thank you so much again, Jason, for those invaluable insights and practical tips on how to improve your website performance with SEO. I know everyone here has learned a lot about the essential strategies and some of the tools needed to enhance your online presence. Before we wrap up, we want to take some time to answer your questions. If you have any questions for Jason or me, please feel free to type them in the chat, and we will do our best to address them. In the meantime, while we're waiting, Jason, let me just check the chat, because we could have some that just came in. So one moment. Awesome. Nothing yet, but feel free to drop those in. Let me just review. Things are looking good, but I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
And this is, you work with and talk to thousands of businesses, throughout the year, and really, whether that's just helping them out, giving them insights into what they can do, or, partnering with us to help them with their marketing efforts, right? Or just networking in the community. And you have great insight into this. So how do you see SEO evolving the past year or two and the conversations you're having in that space? And then what is your recommendation for business owners on how they could keep up or what they should be doing to navigate kind of this evolution in the SEO space we're seeing?
So I'll answer the second part first because my information retention isn't the best sometimes. Uh,
Okay.
the main thing is don't overreact. Stay calm. If you're a business, you're getting articles pitched to you, you're getting people filling out your forms, spamming you to death about I can get you top whatever rankings and blah blah blah. Just don't panic. Stay the course. Keep producing great content on your website. Now, in terms of how things have changed or how the conversations have changed, oh man, this is where we're going to get loose a little bit. It's been an interesting period of time the last year, especially as you all that are still here and listening. Thank you, by the way. Uh, AI is like conquering all of the conversations right now, especially in regards to content. And there's so many more conversations about us or whoever producing a certain amount of content and that business owner saying, well, you don't need to do that. I'll just do that. Like, okay, well, do you understand what I mean when I say that content is this? Like, yeah, no, you said 900 words. I'll just go and I'll tell this bot 900 words and I'll put that on my website. No, 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 no. That's not how that works. Well, that's what John Doe told me to do because that's what he's doing. It's working right now because Google isn't cracking down just yet. Some of that has started, but they will crack down very soon on that by running their own plagiarism test tools, by running AI generative scores on content and start penalizing people as a result. So, how I'm navigating those conversations is letting people know that, hey, this isn't a race. This is a marathon. This is a long, long run. And if you want to do things right, if you want to build your business right, if you want to grow correctly, then you need to do things the right way and let the experts do what they do. I hope someone wouldn't do this, though I know people who have. You don't want to be doing your own dental work on your own face, right? You can't see all the spots in your mouth that you got to clean. Just stop. Stop. Certainly, you can provide support, you can provide some tools, you can provide some direction, like my tooth hurts here, but let the experts come in, provide the support. So that's where I try and help guide the conversation to. Let us provide support. This is something you don't need to worry about. This is why you hire someone who's a professional, because you need those people to build that engine while you're just running your business.
No, that's an excellent point, right? Business owners are already wearing enough hats to try to add a digital marketing expert hat to the mix, right? You could quickly overload yourself, and honestly, as you mentioned before, SEO and digital marketing can be so technical, and there's a deep level of knowledge that's needed. It is typically better to kind of outsource that, or have an internal team member who's an expert in that space supporting, right? That's definitely an excellent point. We did have an excellent question come in for Josh Brown from Josh Brown. I'll pop this up on the screen. I'm happy to tackle this one a little bit,
Sure.
Jason, but also definitely interested to hear your thoughts. So yeah, Josh, thank you for the question. Has AI overviews changed how you created or lay out content? Great question. It is definitely something that we're focused on as an agency. 100%. We're evolving our content strategies to really, really not target for AI overviews specifically, but really with the trends of how Google is trying to send users further down the funnel. So focusing on creating content with more information gain, but then really also creating a full funnel content strategy where we're not only answering that top of funnel question for the client, we're also answering that next question that gets them further down the funnel, and then maybe gets them to the bottom of the funnel, and really every question they have in between to really not only show that you're that comprehensive, authoritative resource in Google's eyes, but also, be that expert for your customer and make your customer's journey really simple and easy to get the questions they need answered. So we found that's a big part of AI overviews. There's been a big evolution here in a number of spaces. A recent update was there's like a 99% overlap in AI overviews with page one results, which before that wasn't the case. And there's been a huge shift in the number of times AI overviews are appearing in search, right? And that they're even recently now appearing for non-logged in users in some cases. So much is changing in this space, but we're absolutely analyzing, staying on top of the latest research, and understanding how we can adjust our content strategies to best help our customers and, stay on top of this AI overviews evolution. And yeah, it just came out recently. I don't know if you saw, Josh, but AI overviews are also affected by Google algorithms updates. The Google internal team confirmed that. So when an algorithm update hits, we will see some pretty big changes in AI overview results, which is what we're seeing with some of these most recent changes. A couple more coming in. Here's one from Zach. What would you say are the biggest differences when tackling SEO for a small business, local coffee shop, or something versus a larger business, maybe a chain? Jason, you want to
Yeah,
take that one? Yeah.
I think to be concise here, and thanks, Zach, for the question, and Josh, thank you for your question as well. So, to answer your question here, Zach, I think it's exciting to have those two different opportunities, that local coffee shop or the larger business. And in fact, they all still follow the same SEO fundamentals. You need good title tags, good meta, good content. When you have a local business, there is the opportunity to have local optimization. So if your coffee shop is located in Seattle, Washington, you can optimize that site around Seattle, Washington, because it's got one location. If you have a larger business that has, say, we've worked with businesses that have 250 locations across the world, worked with businesses that have 50 plus locations in the US, well, then that gives the opportunity to create location pages for those specific locations. So if you have a say it's a dental practice, right? We'll just stay on that topic. You have a big dental practice chain. I think what's the Comfort Dental comes to mind. They have a lot of locations across the country. Well, you can have a page on your site for every location that has a map, that has address information, so unique name, address, phone number. There's schema markup you can do there. There's producing content for that page. There's also the potential for creating city or state pages, depending on how big the scale is in terms of locations that are available. But overall, the fundamentals remain the same. I think there's just a greater opportunity to produce more local specific content to drive users in different ways for a larger business that has multiple locations across the country or world, that sort of thing. Michael, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
I think you touched on many great points there, Jason. Yeah, multi-location SEO is definitely different than focusing on one sole location. Obviously, the scale of managing it's more difficult from GBP optimization and maintenance. There's tools that can help you do that at scale. We leverage some of those internally. But yeah, multi-location SEO, it's similar local SEO strategy, right? But you're doing it for maybe hundreds of locations throughout the US. So something we specialize in. If you have any questions further, we're happy to chat with you more, Zach, on some of the pain points you're seeing, maybe help you navigate any of those challenges. So yeah, feel free to drop us a question, and we have the QR code up top, and we're happy to follow up with more info there.
I think, Michael, we can take one more question, and then unfortunately I have to run to another appointment.
Yes.
But
okay. Yeah,
I want to answer at least one more.
Well, we had two more come in, but I'm going to choose Savannah. Josh, we could follow up with you. Maybe I'll catch you at the next SimPDX event, or just feel free to drop us your info, and we can follow up regarding structured data and schema question. Savannah Allen, if I only have time to focus on one or two of these activities at the moment, what should I tackle first? And Jason, once again, I'm going to hand this one right on over to you, sir.
Okay. So, Savannah, my assumption is you are referencing all the different things that were shared in the presentation. If you could only do two things because you're extremely strapped on time or where your focus can go right now, my personal opinion is number one is content. And the reason for that is it's going to be the hardest thing to produce. It's going to be the biggest challenge to overcome. But the way I would think about it is content over time, as opposed to producing 10 service pages tomorrow. Just write one this month, write one another, next month. But I would focus on content and title tags primarily as the first two activities. And Michael, I don't know if you have a different perspective there.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It depends on where your website's at, right? Maybe you have an issue with some very large technical things that are impacting you. So more context would be extremely helpful. Once again, feel free to drop us your info. We're happy to take a look at your site, free 3 hours of analysis, and really give you specific guidance on if you should be focusing on technical content strategy, maybe content pruning, or really building out your local listings, whatever it may be. We're happy to give you specific guidance based on your actual situation and your website. Great, Jason. Once again, I want to thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. And thank you to everyone for attending. We hope you found the webinar helpful and are ready to start implementing some of these SEO strategies to improve your website's performance right away. If you have any further questions or need additional resources, please do not hesitate to reach out. Have a great day, and we are looking forward to seeing you at next month's webinar.
Yeah, thank you. Stay out of trouble, y'all.